There we are, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another season.
Hi to the viewers.
Greetings from the lovely United States.
I just thought I better actually tell people it's gone live. That might be helpful.
They're not coming.
No.
I just do this to talk to you guys. It's
yeah. You can watch my gormless expression while I'm trying to tell people to
tune in.
Is that how you look when you're moderating people? You're just picking fights, trying to censor the voices of the people.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. That's all I ever do. That's my job. People aren't allowed to speak unless I allow them. Mm-hmm. It's all a big, massive power trip on my part. That
is actually true, though, because they have to sign up for the site. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, massive power trip. It just feeds my ego. That's what it's for. That's the whole reason.
You sound like the Speaker of the House of Commons. That'll be my only political reference tonight, folks. Don't stress.
Well, it's good enough to be here.
Well,
I'll be putting you in a different forum, Kashmir.
Yes, but back to the football, and well, not a bad start. Truth be told.
It's a very
I'll
good
take
start.
the goal in 2 minutes every game, I think. So
I said my wife was really annoyed when it was because she usually watches the game and she was just out in the kitchen doing the dishwasher and was like, what's going again? Oh God! So I sent her back out to do some more dishes just in case they score again. And if I was ready to see if it was don't worry, people. It's not that kind of relationship. It was just to see if we could get another goal. Did
she actually do it?
No, not that time. That was it for them. So
the free thinking type that's able to function in the real world like a real person.
Yeah, not like Lee and my multitasking of trying to.
She's quite lovelier than you.
Well, yes, that is true.
She sounds a good one, so no complaints. But well, those two goals, I think, essentially in the first half anyway, pretty much was a sucker punch and a half to Sheffield United, just as they did to us in 2017-18 at Bramall Lane, getting on the act early, and it's usually going to take the life out of them. And even though they came out in the second half much better, and we could have been better. In the second half, we still did a pretty decent job at the back. And Romain Saiss, what a man. He could have had a hat-trick with a bit more luck. And it would have been the
I'm on board whatever he's up to. So
it would have been the most deserved hat-trick in recent memory. I think if that header had gone in that shot, that was then tipped onto the post by Ramsdale, also snuck in. He was absolutely everywhere. Clearly, I think the rest of the few weeks he's had to breathe has clearly been a massive help. And he just came out all guns blazing at centre back. And if that's his natural position and he plays like that most weeks, then well, I'm sure everybody will be pleased because that was a very, very faultless performance from.
Well, he is a midfielder by trade, right? So he's not completely out of place in those scoring positions, minus being massively out of place in the formation. But I'm assuming that how do you say it? Marcel? Am I saying it right?
Yes.
That he covered back for him in those, which by the way, I'm pleased with him. So
he gets your seal of approval.
He gets it. I guess a Champions League left back will do that. Still not sold on Traore on the right wing for a season, but I did like that they brought on Burr and moved him up at the end of the game to have him do what he did, which is make some brilliant runs and press for a third goal. So
and almost scored two absolute thundercrackers as well. I don't think even though Burr was on for a short period of time, he wasn't too bad. And I know
a little shaky, but
he didn't look out of place, did he?
Yeah, and
I thought he did in defense. He did. He kind of got lost when Sheffield's making a few runs around him, just once or twice.
But he's in his debut. I think he'll take a little bit of time to really get himself stuck in. So we'll give him time. I think a new right wing back a new right back stroke right wing back will be useful. Just so then obviously Adama has competition. Maybe some people. I know once Johnny returns, he could also play right wing back himself. But obviously having a natural left back, a natural left wing back, right wing back probably will maybe have a few concerns in some people, but versatility is key at the end of the day. But we obviously still have Luke Matheson as well, who we could rely on eventually. I think say Thursday or something will be a perfect example for him. But Marcel, £1.8 million for Champions League left back, no complaints. Some eyebrows were raised. Some eyebrows were raised, but he was just solid, and you can see why we've got him in. 2-year deal, cheap money, Champions League semi-final with a very good Lyon side last season. Obviously, making everybody very happy when they knocked City out, humiliated them, and there's a tidy bit of business.
Yep, that's your fourth place Wolves. That's we're Champions League as long as Chelsea doesn't win by 3.
Is it like Chelsea have a penalty?
Do they?
Yes.
I'm not interested in Chelsea though when they don't start Christian.
Yeah.
And they
That's right.
Well, that's 1-0 that they forget.
Well, something I did notice in that game, which I thought in the second half, because I was getting a little worried that we were going back into old habits after being so comfortable for a while and just sitting back and just and then instead of after we scored the second, for a good 10 minutes after that, we just kept possession. That's how to see out a game, not just sit back and lump it and hope and defend for your lives. And then we slipped back into some old habits, I thought, and we were starting to do that. And then the second half, we seemed to come out and start to knock the ball around again after a shaky sort of like first 10 minutes. Knock the ball around well. I noticed who went off. I can't remember who went what. Basically, I can't remember who went off.
Neto.
I think it was when Neto went off and Burr came on. I noticed because we put Traore up alongside Raul. Podence appeared to look like he was sat in a sort of number 10 role, and we held the ball basically for another 10 minutes, but hardly lost it until he went off, and then we seemed to sit back again, which was a shame. I mean, we got back into it again, but for that 10 minutes, they didn't look like they would get the ball off us. And I like what Podence does. I really do like him as a player. He's very, very intelligent. And the cross for the first goal, perfect.
That ball for the first goal was brilliant. Where he's just able to just spot the gap, just the intelligence of him to spot the gap, and then to obviously slip it into Raul, which was just a natural finish, but from Jimenez. But if we can see more of that from Daniel this season, with him having a full season, I think he's going to be a very, very key asset down that left or right hand side, wherever he ends up. And it's his pace, his just agility to be able to hold off players. Even we'll say the same as well with Pedro. Pedro's corner for Sace's header. Even though one of the Blades players pushed the other and then essentially allowed Remain to just climb up like a man mountain. It maybe say a bit of luck there, but that assist from those assists from both of them was just quality, and I think those two are going to be mega. It gives us another real oomph at top. And the fact we didn't even bring on our new £35 million record signing, I think shows at the top end anyway, we're looking pretty dandy.
But the fact that we've got that £35 million signing on the bench means, and what a difference 30 days rest makes to Jimenez, it means he can be rested and have a rest, because he doesn't done half work. I mean, he got man of the match. I mean, I wasn't going to go, I won't say me man of the match yet because that's later, but yeah, it's what a difference. Just a bit of 30 days rest. That's it. That's all he's had. I mean, it's not a lot of rest, but when they not compared to most seasons. But my God, it makes a difference to him, doesn't it? He's just completely full of beans again. Much more on it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any national obligations. I think until October of next year is when we maybe over the summer, but I thought it got pushed back to October 2021 to start qualification. So we'll have some friendlies here and there, but he's gonna get a chance.
Yeah, that for the World Cup next year, I'm guessing. Yeah, I think that is true. Obviously, the year has been shuffled back to next summer. So that I think that is indeed correct. But that is he just looked very sharp. And say his finish was just a typical Raul Jimenez finish. That was, I think, his 46th goal in competitive competitions out of 110. And it was just similar to Burnley, the way it comes onto his foot and knows exactly where he's going to put it. And
that was a difficult finish, though. It was a difficult finish to keep that down, really, and it was excellent.
Absolutely, it never looked in doubt, neither.
Taking every shot the rest of the match, and I can't blame him either. So he almost curled that one attempt in from outside the box. Yeah, and it's just he's a brilliant player. We all know it, and hopefully we get to keep him. He just needs to calm down until the window closes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he has. I know there was obviously all these rumours a couple of weeks ago suggesting Manchester United were closing in or Juve are wanting him, and all those have just died down. I think Nuno signing his new 3-year deal yesterday has been a significant hand in terms of him being able to keep his big assets.
It's been a good.
As I say, with Jimenez just playing the way he is and scoring most weeks, we've got say at top we're looking rather good, and everything.
Well, the thing is, once you've tasted the area and experienced the whole Wolverhampton and surrounding areas, you're converted. There's no leaving.
Well, I'll never make it over there though again because my country's about to collapse on itself. So.
Well, we'll take you in as a refugee.
So you'll get to keep Raul because he'll have no place to go home to because we're going to take Canada with us. But,
you're going to move into Canada.
I wish.
Yeah, you might be safe. You might be safer in Canada actually, considering obviously just everything in the US seems to have hit the wall. But I bet therefore Raul is glad to be from Mexico. But honestly, as I say, as you said, sort of beams is just looking just. I think as well that the fact he's become a father and so forth, I think it might have given him that extra bounce and buzz as well to again do well for his newborn daughter. And
he's got over the initial sleep deprivation.
He might be getting 3 or 4 hours a night of rest at this point, so he should be good to go.
Absolutely. Obviously, new food, new mothers and fathers, it's tough, but clearly he doesn't look like he's been affected too much on the basis of tonight. And again, his defensive work again as well, I must say.
Yeah.
Him being able to get into the box and to scoop the ball clear. He's just a very good all-round asset. I must admit, I was surprised he got man of the match, considering, as I say, Sace was just a rock. I would say stick my neck out and say that was probably one of Sace's best performances in a Wolves shirt by a mile.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be partial to him dying away at Middlesbrough when we went down to 9 men. But other than that, it was a treat today. Really, it was just go up by 2 and just watch them work. I loved it.
Yeah.
Clearing it off the line, just obviously the header for the goal.
That's another thing as well, isn't it? It's another one in his favour. So, hot takes.
Ooh.
Hot takes: Wolves do not go any lower than 4th the rest of the year. That's the hottest of the hot take.
That sounds like one of mine. That does.
I'm feeling good today. Don't ask me how I feel after next Monday, but
Well, my hot take might be we're going to win the. No, that was last. That was last. No, I think I could go with you, Alex. I think I could go with the sitting around the fourth, fifth sort of position, hovering around there. If that's a start of season game, well, we're looking good, and then a couple of additions in some of the places that are still potentially to come.
Yeah, in true hot take form, like 6 or 7 teams looked really good this weekend, and 6 or 7 teams looked really, really bad. Yeah. And so I would say a true hot take would be that we hang out in the top 10 all season. Doesn't sound far-fetched at this point, but
I think that's fair.
After this last week with the moves we made, there's a push coming.
I clearly think, first of all, I would certainly agree on that. There are some teams which look, as I say, we're one of those who look very, very solid. Others who are going to struggle, clearly, including the ones in Sandwell, thankfully.
That game was horrid.
And although I wouldn't certainly say that about Leeds, though, considering they put 3 past Liverpool, and that's a very, very tough thing to do. Obviously, they conceded 4, so they've no doubt going to sort the defensive line out. But
I would have loved that result to take a few points off of Liverpool going, just 1 week, but just to knock them back.
That would have been nice. But I certainly think we're going to be in and around fighting for Europe. I don't know how it will properly pan out. I think it's going to depend on who else we get in with the rest of the window. Obviously, ensuring we keep everybody, and obviously seeing how the other contenders gel in and bed in and start the season. And I think if there's, say, I would probably say that Manchester, I'd say the top 6. I think Manchester United and Spurs are probably the ones who are in more danger. And say us, and I would say us, Everton and Leicester will be pushing them plus Arsenal for completing the top 7, for completing the say 4th, 5th, and 6th, and fighting for in and around there.
Either way, Liverpool's going to be looking up at us for a week, so that feels good.
I think say Everton looked solid yesterday. Good goal from Calvert-Lewin. Spurs just off colour. Leicester obviously absolutely thrashing the Albion, which is what we love to see. Hopefully that'll be the first of many whippings for the boys down the road.
They'll undoubtedly though raise their game beyond all belief just to play us, which is really irritating. But I think we're calm and cool enough these days to deal with that.
Yeah, just as we were against Villa last season in both games.
None of these guys have ever played West Brom. Like they don't even know West Brom's a team. Like Portugal, they don't talk about They don't talk about West Brom. They're only talking about Wolves, so they don't know.
Yeah, just to say levels. They were celebrating bringing back in David Button whilst we were announcing the signing of Fabio Silva. So, what else do we need to say? I think we'll be in the mix. I don't know where specifically, but in the mix for the top 7 at least, and also a cup. I'll stick my neck out and say we're going to do well in maybe both cups actually.
I'm really intrigued to see if they give Fabio Silva like he's the guy for the cup, he'll start every one of those, and just to see what happens there. But I think a deep cup run is necessary after especially after last season missing Europe by how many points?
It was literally a few goals actually. I think it was 3 or 4 goals. If Scott Dan had planted a header in, as mentioned on the final day for Crystal Palace, we would be sitting preparing to play in that second qualifying round game on Thursday against Clodagh or whatever the random team Spurs are going to play.
Well, I suppose a good. It would be nice to see a good cup run so we can actually give some of these younger players a good outing really, because I'm very interested to see Shabani be able to started again after that bloody awful injury he had, because he looked nice in the cup. Because I was watching the game when he was when he got injured, and it's a shame because he was looking pretty useful. So it'd be interesting to see him there. Obviously, our new signing up front, the other guy in midfield, what's his name? I can't remember his name. I'm useless at names. So
is that Vitinho?
Vitina, that's all.
Vitor Ferreira. Obviously, we can also bring in Luke Matheson at right wing back. Obviously, could maybe play.
Yeah.
Diogo could make an appearance and so forth. So the strength there for say Thursday night, or for the League Cup for these opening rounds, which would be Stoke obviously on Thursday, and if we win Gillingham or Coventry at Molineux next week, I think we could really get the youngsters in. And they didn't look too bad on Saturday. They beat Burnley 3-2. Do
you think that it's going to be Jota's last season with us, by the way?
Ooh.
No, I don't think so.
Curious.
I can get where you're coming from, but I think I think the goal his international goal will help him massively, confidence-wise. Because again, it was a nice finish the way he took it last week. Obviously, his first one, at least Ronaldo wasn't on the line to nick it from literally half an inch away. I think that will do him confidence. Obviously, I think he was on the bench because of fatigue from being out in Portugal and so forth, which is fine. But I think he'll say play on Thursday and do what he does all right. And,
I reckon with our front players, there's essentially four slots a game that are going to be played. You might not start. There'll obviously be three to start probably, but I think there will always be a change from 3 to 2. Either starting with 2 and go to 3, or starting with 3, and I think that will continue. So I think every game there'll be 4 players who get decent game time. So
Absolutely.
That's something to fight for, and I think having that competition there and cover, is a good thing. I genuinely do. I think I don't think they are complacent, but I think it's natural if you've got no one pushing you for your place. It's just natural that you might just knock 5 or 10% off without even realizing. But when you've got someone looking for that position, or you want to get back in that shirt, but it's a lot more. And I think that will be the same with the defence. It's probably no surprise that Sace pulled out a pretty good game today when he's got obviously Marcel played as the wing back, but he can also play in that position in the back 3. So there's a bit of pressure there.
Yeah,
I was surprised. I was actually surprised because I thought Vinagre would start, I'll be honest. And I thought it would be Sace who might actually drop out.
But clearly that was a masterstroke. And I think, say, Thursday is a really good opportunity for Nuno to explore those options. Even if people will hate the League Cup or want it scrapped or aren't interested about it, it's still a very good chance for those who are on the bench, or who sometimes get a little bit of play, or who don't have as much to really stake themselves. And if they have a Sace-esque type game, then surely Nuno will have to think about it. I say the under-23s beat Burnley on Saturday 3-2 in the first game of the under-23s Premier League, I think Division 2 or whatever it was on Saturday at Kidderminster ground, where the youngsters have gone from this season, and it looked like a fair field and played well, including I forgot one of the guys who scored. I forgot his name, but clearly I think those youngsters in, say, the League Cup and even in the EFL Trophy, where some of them no doubt are also young enough to play that, being 21 and so forth. Our youth and development side are in that competition. It's another pathway to Wembley. Why not? And if you play well in these, then surely those thoughts will have to come into the gaffer's mind. Because I think the really exciting thing is we are, for future's sake, with our youngsters, providing they develop at a good rate and providing they get a sufficient amount of playing time, even if it means having to go out on loan and make an impact, as Gibbs White did, even if it was a tap-in from 2 yards on Saturday, it'll be good. And I say fair play to Morgan for scoring. I'm sure that will do his confidence massively. I think that was his first goal.
You've got to be in the right place to score them. That's the thing.
Exactly. It was his first goal since Punic, I think, actually. That was Punic at home.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear.
It's
You know, it's very good to hear that he's, you know, he's performing on loan. That's what you want to hear. What you don't want to hear is he goes off on loan and disappears out the team. That's when you know that there's something wrong. You know, with
just
the actual player.
Just like say Brighton and Bakari, for example, he didn't do too bad at Coventry, but at Kilmarnock he was absolutely shocking. For example, and he obviously then eventually got shipped out. As say in the Championship, he just didn't take his chances when they came, and it's understandable. We, like we said, toodles. But no, it'd be fascinating to see how it go on Thursday, particularly the options up front. I think obviously we'll beat them, but you never quite know with a cup game and how banana skin, say, any cup game could be. But our youngsters, I think, are looking all right. And that will be one thing, no doubt, that hopefully Nuno utilises because of the side that we've built. And if in doubt, just get the superstars on. So we don't have to go there. Keep energy and utilise possession.
So, right then. So, man of the match. I'll go first then. Sace. Sace for me. Yeah. As much as Jimenez was got man of the match officially and played an absolute blinder and looked thing, I thought Sace to almost score a hat trick, but for some good goalkeeping and clear one off the line and generally look good all the way through. You know, I mean, when he ran through, he had the intelligence to keep that run going to support that attack, and it was a good run. That's the thing.
And even though he's unlucky, and even though he was unlucky,
I think so, yeah.
and even though he was unlucky not to put that in, it still showed him in a different spot, and contributing very, very efficiently. I say all day of the week, I'll give that to Sace with Jimenez a clear second, and then probably Cody third.
I think for me it's Sace who wins it with a hair's width, with Jimenez just behind.
But as I say, I think it's
with Raul though.
Oh, sorry.
That's it. Just Raul. I don't know. I feel like the game would have been completely different without him on. So I'll be. I don't know. It's just his work rate, and obviously the ability to finish. I'm glad to have him back. Not the sleepy Raul that we had this summer.
Yeah. But he's had his sleep now, so he's fully rested.
But what can you do? What can you do when a wife gives birth? But there we are. He certainly just was all over the place and just doing his duties brilliantly, whether up front or getting back and getting really stuck in as he did on 7 occasions. Even hoofing the ball out, I think, once 30 yards. So he's just one of those regardless of how the team play, he will get himself just stuck in and give it his all, and he showed that tonight. And so probably a clear second. I'd probably say though Sace in my mind gets it by a fair distance with, as I say, his remain Sace having scoring a hat trick would have been a very unlikely sentence at the start of the year.
Yep.
But 2020 has been wild as it has, and he would have deserved it too, because those 2 efforts as well were so unlucky. Had very good header again just over the bar, and obviously the shot. And say, even though Blades kind of self-inflicted with O'Connell pushing, I think it was Egan or somebody in the back, was then enabled Sace to climb above everybody. You're not going to complain when a very good header goes in and the keeper could do nothing about it.
Yeah, they did seem to like. They were very, very physical, and I'm glad that they beat them because they were a bit cynical with some of the challenges. And I think some of that. So I think they should have had at least 1 player sent off. But
Ollie McBurney was a lucky boy. He, I think,
and he's got a crap beard as well. I'm going to have to have his beard is shit. He needs to get rid of it. Anyway, that's just a side.
No, but it's a very important one, and as I say, I think he had 2 or 3 warnings after his yellow card. It's a Premier League referee being a Premier League referee where he just doesn't want to produce the card. Even if in fact when in Matt Ryan bringing down Jorginho, whomever it was, for the penalty just about half an hour ago in the Chelsea game. He didn't even get a card out. As Premier League referees, at least VAR wasn't involved tonight.
As I said, I think the yellow card was actually for his shit beard and not for the challenge. Anyway,
at least VAR wasn't involved.
On to our next subject is any transfer talk. I have been completely out of touch with all this, so I am going to have to leave it to you two on this one because I haven't got a clue about any sort of rumours or the like. I'd just like to, apart from the Corona one and
Alex Tellez and still
there's a lot of
making
talk
noise.
about Doc going to Spurs, but I don't think there's anything in it.
I believe he played.
Doc's gone. Doc's gone. He did a service for us. He wanted a new challenge. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Best of luck for him. His time at Wolves was pretty decent. Obviously, yesterday's game. If I don't think one game certainly won't. That game yesterday at Spurs won't define his time at White Hart Lane necessarily. So I have to see how he gets on. But he saw the opportunity to get an okay. That's fair enough. Best of luck, as I say, for 10 years, £75,000. What a signing! What a signing in the overall context. We're getting then £15 million back. It's a profit at the end of the day. Just try to get a bit more. I would say though we certainly need a new right wing back. I know it's all gone a bit quiet in the last few days with this new season having started. No doubt things will intensify after tonight, which is understandable. But we've still got 3 weeks in terms of international transfers. We've still got 3 weeks to play with.
I'd say we'll be surprised. I don't think we'll be linked with anybody more than we already are. But I think it'll be just kind of something that suddenly there's a lot of smoke out of nowhere, and then a day or two they're taking a picture at Molineux. So
just like Fabio Silva, which basically all came to fruition within. Well, I think the rumours went round just before lunchtime on Twitter that he met she the night before over dinner, and then by just before 2:00, bang! All the press were on it, and then Twitter had almost broke in the jubilation. And I wouldn't be surprised if, say, something like that for say a right wing back, or maybe somewhere else on the pitch will occur again, because that's how Wolves do their business. Wolves get on with it, keep it quiet. It's just huge interest in the signing because it was £35 million, because he's 18, because he hasn't had that much playing time for Porto and therefore hasn't scored too much. Still, we bought him. He looks decent. I'm sure he will be decent whenever he does get his time on the pitch. And as I say, it's the way in which Wolves do its business, and everybody understands why. Just get on with it behind the scenes, and then.
Well, I think they'll probably be a wing back, I think, and I wouldn't be surprised if very, very late on, just before the window shuts, there'd be a completely left field one from somewhere, which will be probably as a result of several other clubs doing business, and then someone suddenly becomes available and wants to move or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen.
Jordan Graham.
I wouldn't also be surprised to see one of ours go as well.
Who would you think though?
Other than Vinagre.
Who would I? Other than Vinagre, well, I think there could be. I don't know. There could still be one of the other ones could go. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I'd be disappointed because it'd be nice to be able to keep everyone and have a nice, good competition for places throughout the team, not just in.
Maybe that's why Jota was on the bench today.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe. I think that.
Who could you see as a kind of left field signing? Out of curiosity.
Absolutely no idea.
Messi still
really
wants
no
out.
idea. That's a good point. You might maybe that buyout clause could be activated. Was it 500 million?
Considering Fosun will be shortly. Yeah, considering Fosun will be shortly bringing back Thomas Cook in the next few weeks, I think, as an online brand, just under a year after they, in and around a year after they fell hit the buffers with their 1.5 billion of debt. Who say that we can't afford someone like Lionel Messi? Even though they would also out left field. In fact, some Twitter with about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain being linked.
Well, yeah, that keeps going round. I think that's just one of those made-up ones.
I'd be all right with it. Maitland-Niles, I'd be all right with too, obviously, but we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised to see someone from one of the bigger squads, a bit with a player with a bit of feeling that they're not going to get as much game time. We might end up, but I'll be honest. I don't think it'll be I don't think we'll actually sign anyone from the Premier League. I'll be honest. I think it will be someone on the continent.
Well, I suppose I don't know. Maybe say right wing back Max Aarons again could be perfect. He's young. I think he's like 21, 22. Obviously, he had that experience in the Prem. Didn't look too bad for Norwich on the weekend. They got back off on winning, and they've in fact, just to say, kept a large core of their side that went down last season and have improved.
He'd be very, very expensive though, wouldn't he?
I would suspect 20 to 25 million at least, knowing that he was one of Norwich's bright sparks. But then also as well, it would mean him. It would mean coming and filling in the English quota, which some people also noted about as well, with us having obviously brought 2 more Portuguese blokes and a Brazilian. Although Silva was under 21, so he wouldn't need to fit actually. And Silva and Vitana wouldn't come in under the quota because they're under 21s. So obviously for those who are under 21, we've got lots of room to play with from the youngsters. So but I'd say someone like Max Aarons or maybe Maitland-Niles if we want to stump up 20 million. And obviously everybody's saying, oh, if you can stump up 35 million for Fabio Silva, why can't you just come in with 25 million for Maitland-Niles? Just let Wolves deal with it. I can understand the reasoning. If they think he is good enough or more than or that kind of worth, then maybe something will be announced at some point soon. Who knows? You never quite know these things. But everybody lets the club get on with it because everyone was fearing until Fabio Silva came in out the blue.
Yeah.
He's now being rated massively.
Yeah. I can't think. Apart from that, I can't really see. I wouldn't know. I'll be honest. I really wouldn't know. But for some reason, I think we're going to sign someone from Juventus. Don't know why. I just think we are. They keep popping up in transfer rumours here, there, and everywhere. Ronaldo. So I think we've. Yeah, but for some reason, I keep thinking they're going to sign someone from there, just because they keep popping up in very spurious links, very, very spurious links. However, but the fact that they keep getting that something is going on around with their
Daniel Ruggieri or how you pronounce his surname again was one of those I think we supposedly went in for a couple of years ago or last season when we had exploratory talks with him or so forth. It would be obviously expensive, but supposedly Juventus are wanting to reduce their wage bill, which is thanks to COVID, just like Barcelona actually. So that Barcelona defender Tom Bida or whatever his name is again still floating around along with those various midfielders. But maybe Juve, maybe Aaron Ramsey. That could be an out of left field acquisition. But it would be expensive considering £400,000 a week. Again, Gareth Bale even been suggesting that the Premier League club might be snapping up for like as low as £20 million. Which would be quite a drop in value considering when. And then
300,000 a week.
Yeah, I'm sure Wolves wouldn't be comfortable in absolutely blowing their wage structure to bits.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm going to ask for everyone's last word, and then we'll wrap it up.
Prediction for Thursday in the Milk Cup, as it once was known.
Do we do a prediction for that? A prediction for that and Man City? Do you think?
Yeah, we'll do it. Since nobody's going to watch the game on Thursday, we probably should.
If I can get hold of it, I'll watch it. But I don't know where I'll be able to see it at the moment.
Yeah, £10 is £10 in this
Still.
environment is a bit mad. On an EFL's dedicated streaming service. For Thursday, I'll go 2 or 3-0. Our youngsters will come out and do the job fairly nicely. I think Diogo Jota and Luke Matheson and everybody, and as well as them, maybe Bettina and who knows else we'll get a solid period on, and the rest of them will be on the bench ready in case a little bit of trouble brews. I think we'll be comfortable enough. Don't know how Stoke. I forgot how Stoke got on the weekend actually. So, but I think we should be comfortable enough for them. And as for City, why not stick my neck out and say 2-1? Another win against City. We like playing Manchester City. Clearly, only lost that one game against them in the Premier League so far since promotion, which was at the Etihad in January 19. I was at that and spent 60 quid on 2 tickets. It was not a nice evening. But again, I think we will step it up as we have done against a bigger club. And knowing that we beat Blades pretty comfortably. I think for City, it might take them longer to gel considering they've had such a lengthy time off. Post a much longer time off, which is very unfair that they got an extra week and we got an extra 2 days. But I think that kind of small frustration will come through and Jimenez will score and maybe there'll be a scream or some kind from somebody, Traoré or Neves, that will win and everybody will be very pleased and maybe we'll make a signing in between for that right wing back. Who knows? Maybe that'll be a hot take. We'll have Doherty's replacement in by next week.
Okay, fair enough. Alex?
I think they will win pretty easily on Thursday, regardless of who we trot out there. Man City, I would take crowd into consideration, but obviously there is none. So I don't know. I just I kind of think that we've been fueled by our fans when we've played them, though, and that's not going to be there this time. So I think they still might have a bit too much quality. So I'll go 2-1 Man City. I'd love to be wrong, but I'm never wrong, Cash. Never.
You've been predominantly right. Understandably conservative last season, so no, fair enough. Mod?
I think in the week we will actually struggle, but I think we will scrape through. Is it penalties and extra time and penalties?
It goes straight to penalties. Extra time has been binned for the season, I think, at least.
Right. I think then we will win on penalties there, and then I think it will be a high-scoring draw, something like 3-3 with Man City.
Bit like Celtic against City in the Champions League about 4 years ago, which was a corker of a game. Or a bit like like Saturday, Liverpool Leeds, which was, as a neutral, I must say, even though I'm guessing hate both of those teams to their guts, very entertaining. And Mo Salah scoring a hat-trick for fantasy league purposes, obviously.
Oh yeah, he's done me proud. But yeah, I think a high-scoring draw. I think there'll be some terrible defending on show from both teams, and but some great attacking play. That's my prediction. I think it'll be very high possession attacking play from Man City, and fantastic example of breakaway goals from us.
All right, I'm in.
I'm conforming to our basic stereotypes of the two teams completely. So there you go. Anyway,
right.
Yes, so we'll wrap that up there. If anybody wants to come and join us next time, you can.
Please come.
Or you can just listen to us rambling on, which is probably much better because we just talk so much sense, are so lovable, affable, wonderful people. And on that note, I shall end it. Goodbye, all.
And we shall see you next Monday.
Love.
Adios. Stay safe.